I turn the camera on, the dog starts scratching herself. A topwater bait. Hello. Really? Really? Hold on. Be right back. Okay, well apparently I now have company. So the original OG style... Get down. Hey, what's up guys? John from Mongo Fishing, and I'm here today on the Monster Bass channel to talk to you about the Big Bite Baits Buzzing Warmouth that came in the October 2020 Monster Bass Box. But before we get into this, make sure you hit the subscribe button right down there, along with the bell notification button, so you get notified every time Monster Bass comes out with another video. So, let's get into this. Alright guys, this is the Big Bite Baits Buzzing Warmouth. This is based off of Big Bite Baits Warmouth. It's a bait that they've had out since it's been out for like 8 or 9 years. It's been out for a minute. It's a great flipping bait people have used for a long time. Good for bed fishing, sight fishing, stuff like that. And this is the same body design. The biggest difference is these little kicker tails. The original OG Warmouth had like the lower end, like the tail, if you will, was that of the Dean Rojas fighting frog. Very similar, not exactly the same, but pretty similar. And this, of course, has kicking feet instead. This is a topwater bait. You can use it for other techniques if you wish, but the main design is the Warmouth, but in a topwater version. So let's get into rigging. Okay, one thing you'll notice with this is it has this big hook pocket. And again, that comes from the original design. It's not really relevant on the Buzzing Warmouth as it is in the others. You know, my assumption was that it stayed there because of the body design, but apparently they kept it because I guess it helps with the collapsibility of this thing when it gets bit. My dog is scratching herself, so I apologize if you hear that in the background. Okay, so rigging. This right here is a Katana 5/0 EWG hook. When you rig this, you want to use a 4/0 or 5/0 EWG hook, something that's nice and sturdy, nice and thick. You don't want to use a light wire hook with this technique in any way, shape, or form. It's got to be a stout hook. So when you're looking on this body, down here near the legs, one side will have a T and the other side does not. So this side right here has the T, so this side does not. You're going to take your hook, stick it right through the tip of the nose, and bring it down about 1/4 inch or so, and pop it out the side that does not have the T. Run your hook up to the front like that, rotate it around. Now there's 3 little lines down here. You can use those 3 little lines to make sure that you get this thing centered when you poke your hook out. Right there. Poke your hook out, kind of skin hook it a little bit, and there you go. This thing is weedless, ready to rock and roll. You can cast it out and bring it through some nasty stuff. So that's like the primary #1 way of rigging it. But it's not necessarily my favorite. Favorite would be this. This is a keel-weighted Swimbait hook. This one just happens to be another Katana hook with a screw lock in it. So what the screw lock does, it makes sure that the head stays nice and centered, but the keel weight right here makes sure that this thing runs nice and flat the way it's designed. If you throw it out like this with a regular EWG hook, it may actually land upside down. So you want to have a nice heavy hook to make sure that it stays this way instead. And having a keel weighted hook kind of ensures that's what's going to happen. You just got to make sure that you use a light weight, like 16th ounce, 8th ounce. I think this is a 1/4 ounce. That's about as heavy as I'm willing to go. Again, I'm just using that for a little extra weight to throw it out there, but the bigger part of that is to make sure that I have a keel weighted hook so that I know this is going to run true and nice and flat with this side down. So again, that's another alternative way of rigging it basically. Rod, reel, and line. Okay, I'm not a big proponent of people going out and buying a new rod and reel and whatever just to set up, you know, for a specific technique. There are a few techniques where it's very important, but for the most part, use what you have. You know, I throw a lot of stuff on 7 foot. This technique, you know, 7 to maybe like 7.6. I throw this depending on the type of cover that I'm trying to burn it through. You know, a swim jig rod, or possibly even up to like a frogging rod, like a, you know, hollow body frog rod. So like this one in particular, this is a Lew's TP1 Black 7.2 jig rod, medium heavy, fast action, 50-pound braid with a Lew's American Hero. I think it's a 7:3-to-1 gear ratio, or 7-to-1 gear ratio basically. Gear ratio for this, you know, I like a 7-to-1 or faster, because again, the point of this is to get this thing up on the surface and keep it burning across the surface. You don't want a slow gear ratio, otherwise you're spinning your reel super fast. Just, you know, the faster gear ratio can ensure that you can reel a little slower if you have to, but you're moving it fast enough to keep it up on top of the water, and you can get those bass out of the nasty stuff when they hit it. Line, 50 to 65 pound braid. Again, the same stuff that you would throw, you know, a hollow body frog on. And the location where you're going to fish it is also similar to where you're going to throw a hollow body frog, just maybe not as thick of stuff as a hollow body. So you can use this, skip it underneath docks with this nice flat body. It's going to skip a little easier. It's a little harder when it has a keel weight on it, but it will still skip. Skip it underneath docks, burn it along like riprap, seawalls, exposed vegetation, submerged vegetation. Basically, again, anywhere where you can throw a hollow body frog, just maybe not the same thickness of mats, like you know, not necessarily that thick cheese, but if there's you know, some broken up mats or whatever, totally, this is an awesome bait to use in a situation like that. You can burn this thing super fast, cover a bunch of water, and get those active feeding fish. Strictly a reaction bite, and they will flat out smoke this thing. So that is the Big Bite Baits Buzzing Warmouth. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down below. Again, my name is John from Mongo Fishing. My channel will be linked down in the description below also. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right down there, along with the bell notification button if you have not already. Again, guys, thank you very much for watching. As always, get on the water, be safe, and go stick some lips.